This trade, I think this one was. I mean, we talked about the KD one. To me, this one was the most impactful, because I think the Lakers easily turned them. Every Lakers problem we could have named over the last pretty much this whole season, every issue we could have talked about with the Lakers got solved with that trade last night, or that trade they made yesterday. They went and picked up D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. And I'm hearing also Mo Bamba's on the roster now. This team's deep now. Dennis Schroeder, it's still there. Rui Hachimura. Like I said, you pair those guys up with the new guys. Think about that supporting cast around LeBron now. And we complained about them, not really having that reliable third option. Your reliable third option now is D'Lo, who's an all-star point guard with playoff experience. Simple as that. Who's hit his stride over his last couple of games in Minnesota. He can close games out. He's interchangeable at the 2 and the 1. He was a godsend. He was probably third on my list as far as point guards the Lakers could have used the most. There was Kyrie. That didn't work. There was Fred VanVleet. He doesn't get moved. And then there was D'Lo, and now they've got him. This was a hell of a move by the Lakers.
Yep. Oh, yeah, for sure. Because if you think about it, the thing that the Lakers have been struggling with probably over the last 2 seasons is shooting and probably just spacing the floor. Now that they got rid of Russ, they have shooting. They have a little bit of defense. Like you said, they got Vanderbilt, and then they got a Malik Beasley, dude that can kind of score on his own sometimes, doesn't need other players to set him up. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how D'Angelo Russell, because you mentioned Rui Hachimura too. I want to see him kind of fit with Rui in like that second unit when LeBron is off the court and see if they can still kind of, accumulate points. Because that's the problem. When LeBron goes to the bench too, they absolutely suck. They suck with him on the court. They really suck with him off the court. So
you go from your second unit, being led by Russell Westbrook, and now when LeBron's not out the court, you rely on offense from guys like Schroeder. Now there's Malik Beasley, then there's D'Angelo Russell. I like that. I like that a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's big time.
It's real good because Schroeder isn't like he's a good scorer, obviously, but he isn't an off the ball type of player for real. D'Angelo Russell is a more off the ball player than Dennis Schroeder. So sometimes Dennis Schroeder can kind of be the point and kind of dish it out to D'Angelo Russell, get buckets.
Yep.
It's really that simple.
And you mentioned it there. Darvin Ham loves his multiple guard lineups where he's got about 3 guards on the floor. So you can do that with Beasley, with Schroeder, and with D'Angelo Russell. You can get buckets with those guys on the floor together. You know what I'm saying? You get very meaningful minutes. It's just you're going to get great minutes without LeBron on the floor. You know what I mean? So, and like you mentioned, the Vanderbilt pickup and the Bamba pickup were huge. Bamba's a great rim protector, obviously. He's got some work to do. And maybe some of his weaknesses will get exposed at this stage and on this level. But he was a big-time pickup. You mentioned Vanderbilt, one of my favorite young defenders. The Lakers put themselves, I got to give Blake's opinion on this. The Lakers put themselves in position to where I think they're a legit contender now. I really don't care. They are. You know what I mean? Carl said it yesterday. They just got to hit this. They've got to hit this stride and figure things out. I think they will, but I think they're going to be primed for a huge post All-Star break run. That's all they need. They're going to be contenders for sure. For sure.
So when that doesn't happen, when that doesn't happen at the end of the regular season, we're gonna come back. We're gonna pod. We're gonna drop a new episode, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna look at y'all just like this and say, "I told you so." Just like I did with that, when y'all hyped up the Pat Bev move, and when y'all hyped up the Russ move, when you hyped that team up last year, and they amounted to a whole lot of nothing. I'm gonna sit here in this chair and I'm gonna say, "I told you so."
There's almost no way this does with all this. Okay, I say this: if they can't make this work, there's almost no way there's literally almost no way this doesn't work. There's almost no way. There's spacing, there's defense. The only thing they've got to figure out is just rhythm with each other with a new group. There's everything they need. There's zero way this doesn't work. There's zero way.
It has to work because, well, we all know it has to work.
It has to work. Yep.
But anytime everybody that's been keeping up with LeBron's career knows he's his most impactful and successful when you surround him with shooters and people that can space the floors, even bigs that can space the floor. So even Mo Bamba can here and there can knock down a 3. Rui can knock down a 3. So, and I actually like the Mo Bamba pickup mainly because I know they gave away Patrick Beverley. He's a good player, so whatever, he's going. But I like that they got Mo Bamba because one thing the Lakers have been struggling with the second unit, Thomas Bryant has been giving us great minutes, but the thing is we still struggle with length and we get out rebounded a lot.
Yeah.
The Mo Bamba addition is great for us because he can still get his rebounds. We won't be getting out rebounded in the second unit with Anthony Davis isn't there on the floor. So
For sure. Big time. Those were major moves, bro. Major moves. They literally gave up guys who were unproductive for guys who were very productive. Simple as that. You mentioned giving that up Pat Bev. Yeah, Pat Bev didn't give you shit. He didn't give him shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the wild thing is like D'Angelo Russell, he was on the Timberwolves team last year, obviously, and then Patrick Beverley was too. So right when D'Angelo Russell got traded to the Lakers, he was like, "Oh, Patrick Beverley tweeted something. Oh, the game back together, everything like that." Then somebody retweeted. I guess they not back together.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it ain't like that. Yeah, he's a good player, but he just wasn't doing much on the Lakers. And like I said, I just hated him being out there with Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook. I just didn't like.
Too many guards that can't shoot.
Facts. And none of them.
Too many guards that can't shoot. You were kind of dependent on Thomas Bryant to be your your backup big, which he actually did. He actually played well on the offensive end, but as far as defense goes, they still were lacking that big that can block shots and had like rim presence or rim protection. So
their rotation looks great. You know, I just don't see a world where this thing doesn't work. I really don't. This thing has to come together, has to work. You got Bron playing at a high level.
Yeah.
80's health is going to be in question. Let me ask you this question. Can this team win a playoff series even if 80's not healthy in the playoffs with this roster currently?
No.
That's a good question. Because at least now they have depth to kind of balance out the fact that AD might not be there because let's be honest, anything is possible with his health. Anything.
Yeah.
He can fall on his butt and hurt his buttocks. I don't know. But I'm just saying literally he can fall on his butt and then he grabbing his back. That don't even make sense to me. But anything is possible, but that's a good question. I think they can win a couple games, maybe, but it depends who it's against, but maybe not a series. But at least that increases their chance to win a couple games versus not any at first, because if they didn't have AD at all and they never made these trades, they probably get swept by any team they'll play. I'm being honest.
Facts. Another big thing about that D'Lo move, kind of going back to him, is now they've got another guy who can close. Outside of LeBron, there was nobody who was going to close games out. There was nobody.
That was the problem. LeBron would have to close every single game. He's already 38 years old. He can't close. Anyway, you can't have one player that can only close on your team as it is. So he's 38 years old and you're dependent on him. And he's tired halfway through the game because he was putting up 30 points, which is another crazy thing that you ask him to do. So he's not going to close a lot of games with energy.
We got a lot of moments where D'Lo, hit those big late fourth quarter shots. You know what I mean? So he can definitely do that here in LA. Like I said, the thing with D'Lo, people said he's been mid, whatever the case may be. I've been on that train too. I'm not gonna lie, but these last couple of weeks, I think Blake said something about it. He's been hooping. These last couple of weeks, and he's showing his value as a player. He's gonna thrive here. So I like it, and I like that he's in this situation. He grew a lot. So all y'all, still bringing up the snitch because
bro, that's so corny, bro. Yeah, that's literally middle school.
He's gonna snitch on LeBron. Like, shut that, bro. That's like that's years and years ago. He's a completely different player now. So that was a big, So yeah.
That's I don't know why they bringing something up that what happened 4 or 5 years ago. Like Blake said, that's just kind of
longer than that.
Nick Young ain't even in the league no more. We don't care about that.
Yeah,
I would have snitched too. No, I'm just playing. Calm down. But he's I'm sure he's matured since then. It's not that big of a deal. That team, the problem was that team was just very immature. Like everybody he wasn't the only one doing immature shit. Let's be honest.
And how immature? Let's be honest. How immature was that? Like, on the scale of immaturity?
Oh hell, it was bad.
He had a video of his teammate admission to snitching. That's like we done seen dudes get ass drunk. We done seen a bunch of stuff. Like on the scale of immaturity,
I'm not gonna lie, that is a little bit immature.
It's immature, but is it like I ain't gonna take this guy on my team? Like it's around his career.
No, it's never that. It's never will.
Yeah, like who's acting like
it can be that situation wasn't that. When you talk about maturity, I think that situation could have been.
People act like that was like, oh, I'm not gonna take D'Lo because of it. Like I was like, y'all, come on, bro. So
yeah, it's a shame, but guess what? Russ is going. So
yeah, I know you. I was waiting on you to say that. I was waiting on you to say that.
He's going at the end of the day. I wish Russ well. I wish he goes to a team which I don't know. The Utah might it's a possibility they probably going to buy him out. So I'm just hoping he goes to a team where he can show his talent and not really have to worry about the team trying to force him to fit in somewhere where he can't fit. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I agree. Yeah. So how about this? And like I said, I've just been saying this is why I gave Russ the excuses. You cannot put a guy in a situation like that and expect him to thrive. And it was just proved. You know what I mean? It was just proved. So I'm glad he's not in this crappy situation anymore. You're putting a point guard who's historically thrived around shooters on a team that can't space the floor. I don't know who in their right mind thought that was going to work. You put Russell Westbrook around 9 shooters. And then wonder why he couldn't play well. So you go back and look at Houston. Why'd they go trade Clint Capella? Because the lane was clogged up. So he can have better driving lanes when Capella was out. That's why he played better afterwards. So why do you think he didn't play well in LA? Because couldn't nobody in that roster shoot?
Yeah. He couldn't either. So
but
he still couldn't.
But it's like you gotta help guys play to their strengths. A team's not gonna bring in Ben Simmons. No team without shooting is gonna bring in Ben Simmons. Yeah. Simple as that. Yeah. So Rob decided to bring in a point guard he knew couldn't thrive in that system and expect him to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we mentioned players. Oh, that's funny. We mentioned players that just are plug-in type of players like Kyrie and KD. Russ isn't that type of player. You have to kind of build around him for him to be successful. Yeah. Really, LeBron isn't that type of player either. Sometimes you have to give him the right pieces for him to be successful either. I think he'll do better than Russ, obviously, because he's a better player. But you get what I'm saying, though. It's just certain players you have to build around.
Yeah,
we give Russ a lot of. We give Russ a lot of stuff, for all the jokes we make and all that. Because
that's you.
Yeah, I do. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like Ty said, man. You can't expect to put this type of guy in this type of situation, and not quite frankly, a bad situation, not the best situation, at least for his strengths, and then expect him to thrive and expect him to just play how he was. Like Carl said, also, he's not just a plug-in player. It takes a special kind of system around him because he's just still a special player.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that, and also, I mean, let's just keep it a buck. He's got one of the best individual careers of all time as far as point guards go. He broke a record nobody thought was going to get broken. Simple as that. That triple-double record was seen as impossible. If you go ask the triple-double guys of the early 2000s or the 90s, whatever the case may be, it was seen as an unbreakable record. He did that consecutive seasons. He did it. They won. It translated to wins. We let a bad stint in LA change how we looked at this man. So I'm glad he's out. It's not for Lakers fans, all that, because I didn't see Twitter. Thank God we ain't got Russ no more. Shut, bro. That's because y'all GM couldn't get no shooters. It doesn't make, it's just these non-basketball, it's these people who just, it doesn't make sense. Like any idiot could have seen that it doesn't make sense to put him around 9 shooters,
That's true. I think what makes it worse is, and you've seen a couple games where like Russ just makes dumbass decisions.
True.
That doesn't make it better. Like he just isn't out there, and then he's not just passing to people that aren't knocking down shots, because that's happened a lot too. But it's also been times where he throws dumbass passes or he shoots shit off the side of the backboard. That happens a lot. So a combination. Look, I'm just let you say a combination of those two things. He has, I could cut up some slack on the other things because he just doesn't fit, but he also has made mistakes where I'm just like, what the hell are you doing?
Which is true, but how many of those were? I got you there, but okay. I think a lot of those were rhythm mistakes. If you're not, if a guy like certain guys need rhythm, and if he doesn't have the ball in his hands, if he's not in that type of, because I always said this, Russ wasn't far removed from a superstar version of himself. Look what he did in Washington, and then just go look at what the hell happened in LA. So I think they just put him in a situation where they're asking him to do stuff that he had no business doing. He's rolling off of pick and rolls. He's diving to the basket. Those are his only buckets. He had no rhythm. Half the game, he's not even their primary playmaker. There was no way he's going to be able to get his rhythm. All in all, I'm glad he's not here anymore because, like I said, this was just a horrible stand on his career, which is one of the best NBA careers of all time. Simple as that. Simply put, one of the most elite careers out of every NBA point guard, so.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to just turn because he had actually this year he was way better than last year. I give him credit for that. At least he summoned up some type of great play this year versus last year, because last year was absolute disaster. But at least this year he kind of redeemed himself in terms of he can still be an important piece to a great team, possibly. So
yeah. So the Clippers and the Bulls are right now on the table. We've heard their names, so we'll see how it all works out. But it'll be interesting over the next couple. So. Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's as far as trades go, those were the two biggest ones we had to cover.